Hi guys, this is Tigazo doing a Roblox Lua tutorial, and I thought I'd start off with something spectacular, like you see in the background there. How long I've been sort of programming for must be round about give or take a few years, must be about 14 years now. So I haven't been programming in Lua for 14 years, but I've been programming in other languages similar to Lua, or as it really means is moon script, like Lua. If you look up Lua in any kind of thesaurus or whatever you call those things, it comes under moon. So moon script. I don't know if that's any useful fact, but anyway, what we got here is my Beetle, which is completely programmed in Lua, animated in Lua as well. And I just threw a few humanoids in here so you can see what's what. Let's have a quick look at this Beetle, show you the animation script, just a load of values. I'll be covering this in a later video or something. Anyway, let's go into the main script that controls everything. Like the mode here, it's got walk. It's walking towards that zombie there. Turn right and it turns right. So yeah, it's a basic custom animation thing. You may see some of these error messages in the output. It's because my connection, I think it sucks today. Anyway, I thought I'll start off with something quite interesting. There he is. If you get good at Lua, you'll be able to program something like that yourself. Anyway, let's load up the tutorial script. That one. Right. At the moment, there's nothing in the script itself. Right, I thought I'd take you through the complete basics of Lua and then work our way up, kind of thing. Right, let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to teach you about is the different kinds of variables found in Roblox Lua. As you see here, we got a value of A, which is equal to nothing, or nil, which is if you were to type that, it would look like this. Oh, there we go. When you declare a local value is only local to the script itself, which it's in, i.e. what's in the workplace. Let's say only this script can do this, can access that value. That's what the local means. I don't know if there is a global. No, there isn't. It just says error. I think there was a global in normal Lua, but I can't remember what it was called. I've just been calling my variables with local beforehand, or you can do something like this, but it has to equal something. Something like that, or if you wanted to create a blank value. Anyway, let's move on. We got the variable b equals to an empty string. If you see the two parentheses like that, that means it's a string, like there. In this case it's an empty string, so that would not be equal to nil. It'd be just a string with nothing in it. Whereas if you see a string like that, where you got two brackets or two parentheses or whatever you call those things, two little hashtag things, I don't know, whatever you call them, with a space in between, that means that b is equal to space. That's basically what that is. That's for a string. Next one is a number. No, an integer. D's a number, right. So c is equal to a whole number without the decimal point. Like you can't have, well, you can. If it's an integer, you can't have something like 89 point, I don't know, 20, because it's a integer, because it's not an integer, sorry. It would help if I get my brain in gear. Anyway, in other words, it has to be a whole number. In other words, it can't be 1.23 if you want it to be an integer. Most of the time in Roblox Lua, you can have a what I would call a float number, which is basically a decimal point in the number somewhere, like what D is. Like if you want to have a whole number, it has to be without a decimal point. I think that's quite obvious. Anyway, the Roblox has actually got different types of things to hold these sort of values. Like for the a equals nil, that would be, I think, an object type. Like we got object value here. There we go, and that's equal to nil. As for, let's change that to value a. This is not exactly linked to the actual script itself. It's just showing you what it would look like in Roblox outside the script. So b equals a string value, which would be, if I can find it, string value, and that would be b. So, and that's an empty string, which is what that b is. If you wanted to reference these objects, you'll have to do something like, make a space there. Let's call the value for value a or b. Let's do b. So b equals script parent. Oh, would help if I can type properly. B. That's, no, not base plate, thank you. Don't want that autocorrect. Thank you. And then what we do for that is we call b value, which is, oh, uppercase V, it would help. Yeah, this programming language, if you do program in it, it has to be exact. In other words, it's case sensitive. So you can't have, well, let's just say b, these two different values are different. Like b equals nil, b equals 1. Let's comment that out so we do not get an error. Print, yeah, to print things out you call that function print. That's what I'm doing here. So b, that won't work. So the reason why I'm thinking about that won't work is because Lua likes strings to be printed out, and you can do something like that and it will print it out nicely. But if you add anything else into the print function, like b plus, that's how you add things together in the print function, just the two little dots. A. Go away. Sorry about that. My computer's not behaving today. Yeah, if we run that now, it would say b is undefined, or b equals nil. In fact, let's do that. There we go. Keep breaking on error. That's good enough. Yep, so it's say b equals nil, because it can't print it out because it equals nil. So the way I would get around that is another internal function, like print is an internal function to Roblox. The other internal function that I would put inside there is toString. toString b, and let's do that as well. Oh, would help if I don't remove the actual value and get it correct. Would help. Right, there we go. Let's run that again. Oh, there we go. The first value is what it's printed out. The first one was nil, and the other value is, or capital B, was 1. So it proves that you can have different or same named variables, just different, just one in capitals, one's not. Anyway, let's continue. So we got, where were we? Oh yeah, on E. E is a complete string, or just a string, which is what that actually says there. It's a string. F is something slightly different. It is a table, which is, think of it as, you got, as the name implies, you've got a table, and you got, in this case, you've got nothing on that table, where it's just an empty table and that's it. So, and as you add things onto that table, like in G's case, we got the number 1, which is an integer. So let's just say, I don't know, my multimeter here, that was, let's just say that's 1. I've just put it on the table, that sort of thing. So yeah, and to call and to check if that's on that table, we would do, oh come on, what is going on with my computer? That is annoying. Yeah, as I was saying, to call that number 1 in that table, I would do something like this. Let's do a print G1. Oh, yeah, that's fine. And that 1 in those square brackets is not the number 1 in the table. That's the index of the table. Like in the table, you've got an index from 1 to whatever number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc., etc. And we're calling an index here for the table to reference the number 1. Let's actually change that 1 to, what's going on there? Thank you. To U. Let's actually make that a string U, because that won't work. There we go. Just to make that clear, let's rerun it. And where are you? Didn't that print out? What is going on there? Hold on, let's disable all the other functions here. I'll be covering what this is in a little bit, what I'm doing here. That won't work if I do that. Why isn't that commenting out? That's why. Right, there we go. Let's get one value out when we're printing. There we go, U. So that proves that that in that square brackets isn't the actual thing that you're looking for. It's just the index of where it is in the table. Like, we could have U and A, which is two, which is U is index 1 and A is index 2. And if you wanted to, C is index 3. So you would change to print to get those values of U, A and C. You would do print 1, print 2, print 3. Or print G1, print G2, print G3. Kind of thing, like this. Basically that. And it print out UAC. If you go outside the index, like print G0, it would come back nil, because it cannot find it in the index on the table. Because every time when you call an index in Lua, everything starts from 1. In other programming language, it starts from 0. I don't know why that is. It's just, I guess, preference. Hey! Thank you. Anyway, that's basically what tables are. In fact, I can run that and show you what the error messages are. Yeah, U, A, C, and nil, because G index 0 is nothing. Well, in Lua standards, it's 0. Anyway, let's move on to H. This time we got the same thing as a table, but we got another value, like let's say A equals 0 in this case, inside the table. If we wanted to, we can add objects into the table, like I'm just going to copy this here and put it into the table and it be valid. Right, we could have something like that. And as we run it, we should have 2 bricks. There we go. Because it's a object thing, because I've done an instant new thing, it's added another brick to the place. So yeah, tables can hold basically any kind of value within Lua. And the last one here we got, as I've just been playing around with, is a object variable, which is referenced a brick in the workplace, which is not, I don't think it's that one, it might be that one. Let's have a look. Let's rerun that. There we go. So that in our script is referenced under brick, which is that. Right, let's have a look what they are and see what the output comes out with these sort of things. Let's get rid of these. Like, let's see what that prints out, and I'll talk you through it. Right, here we go. Let's get rid of our basic objects and let's move that up a bit better. Right. So, the first line is basically just going through our variables that we set above. And A equals nil, which is correct. And it's a type of nil, because we haven't declared what type it is yet. Oh, yes. In Lua, compared to other programming languages, you don't have to declare the type of variable, like in other programming language, I think C++ or something, you do something like that, where that is a number with a decimal point in it, i.e. a float. Although I think it's more like something like that. Or in our case, like, let's say we got a value of nothing, it'd be undefined C, something like that. I don't program in C++, but I've had a look what it's like. That's better. So yeah, that's the different types. So B would be a string, and it's actually printed out this string, which is what we got there, which is nothing, but it is a type of string, as I talked about earlier. So C is a integer, but this is quite interesting what it comes out as this time. Roblox thinks it's a number. It's actually a integer, which is, let's get rid of these. Where are we? An int value. That's what it'd be the same as. I can enter in any number there. I can't put a point. I'm pressing the point button and nothing's happening. That's basically what an integer is. So that's the integer. Oh, pardon me. I think I drank that water too fast. Oh well, whatever. Then we get D, which is a float value. Or in Roblox terms, it's a number value. Which is basically something like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 5, 6. I don't know, it's just a value just thought up with a decimal point. So D is also a valid thing. E is a string and it prints out E equals this is a string and it's a type of string, which is correct. I don't think we need to go into too much depth with that. So F is a table. This value here is the address of the table. We don't have to worry about that unless we're actually going into byte coding, and that I still can't get my head around. I'm basically just a Lua, JavaScript, maybe CSS programmer, basically a light programmer. Although I'm getting my feet wet in byte programming. Like you mess around with the memory address of the computer and all that business. No, not for me. So yeah, F is a table, as it says there. And it's a type of table. And I've also put the length of the table, which is 0, because we've got nothing in the table. Nothing on the table. So yeah. I sort of ignore that that hexadecimal value. Is that hexadecimal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Yep, that's a hexadecimal value. I think it's a memory value of where it is in memory. Anyway. So G is also a table. This time it's printed out exactly the same as what we had. To get the values, I think I should have kept those, how to get the values in. Let's re-type it. Come on, brain. Basically that. To get the values in the table. Right, as for, oh yeah, and then also printed out the length of the table, which is 3. As for H, it's also a table, and the length of the table this time is 0. It's because we got a variable within the table. I don't quite know exactly what's going on, but it should be a length of the table should be 1, or length of the objects in the table is meant to be 1. I guess because we're using a variable inside a table. To get that variable out of that table, I would do something like this. And of course the print is just printing out to output. That's all. So we can see what's what. Print H, or I'm just wondering if that would work, because that's how I would do it in JavaScript. There's also another way we can do it. Nope, that won't work. Nope, that won't work either. There we go. Let's see what that comes out as. There we go. 2 zeros. So there's 2 ways of doing it. So that's correct. Yeah, it's basically like doing I've put up here b.value, where in this case we put the value of a to h, where the value, instead of being the name value, it'd be a. So let's say a, that value there would be a, which is in this case is correct. I don't know if I made that clear. Anyway, that's basically how you put other values inside a table. And the next one is an object named brick. This is a really cool function, instant.new. You can add any kind of object found in Roblox that isn't a service, or I guess model, but if it's in the basic objects you can add it to the game. And just recently I think Roblox has updated the where to put it, where you got the name of the part that you want to add. In this case it's a brick, which is named part in the script. Where I get that from is basically there's a name of a object in the basic object named part, so we just have to do a string value for that, and the second value for the instant.new is the workplace, or workspace, not workplace. As we run it, we get a brick in the workspace. I've got workplace on the mind. So it's that brick. So yeah, that's all of that. What I'm going to talk about now is how to make comments in script, like what I'm doing here, what I was messing about with earlier. If you see the 2 minus minus in the script, it's a single line comment. But if you say you do that and then you go to a new line, it would say the error, that is not found. To get around that, you just add another one. Or if you think you're going to make more than one line of a comment, you would do something like this, which is dash dash square bracket open square bracket open. I don't know what you call those. And then write your comment on multiple lines if you want to, like something like that, and then you close it with the 2 square brackets again. So that's basically how you do comments. Right, let's move on to a for loop. Basically what a for loop does, it executes a certain amount of times that you set in the for loop. Like in this case we've got a equals 1, and keep on doing it until it equals 10, because it adds 1 on every time it loops through. And if we got it here, no we haven't. Let's rerun it. If you have a look here, hello, what we got there? Oh, I see. I'll get to those in a bit. Alright, so you run it. Hey! Yeah, Roblox or any kind of Lua, if it finds an error in the script, it just stop, like we've just seen. It's good for debugging scripts. There we go. The for loop. Let's actually get back to the script. So, where are we? There we are. Yeah, so what we do is the value that we're using in the for loop, I don't think this value is actually accessible to anything outside the for loop. I'll have to do a test for that. Let's have a look. Let's rename that A to something else. Let's say A inside. A inside is at A inside. Print A inside. Let's do it before. I'm definitely sure that the one before won't work. Yeah, there we go. A inside equals nil, and outside the other side of the function it also equals nil because we have not declared it outside the for loop, which is quite interesting. Right, let's actually comment that in. I think what I'm going to do is going to put this, what we're working through here, up on either in Roblox or pasebin, so you guys can have a look at it. I'll have to have a look at it after the after we're done. See if I can actually do that. So yeah, there's different kinds of for loops that we can do. This is a number for loop that we just seen go through. We can also cycle through a table using an extra function called iPairs or pairs, something like for key var. I haven't done this in ages. In iPairs, let's use the value g for this example. Do. So what we got there? Oh, in. There we go. Yeah, for cycling through a table where you don't know the index or the variables that's inside the table, we would use that so we can get the values inside the table. So let's print key my value is var. Now this would be interesting if it works. I haven't done it in ages because I'm usually doing just the number ones. Sure. There we go. 1 of g, my value is u. 2 of g, my value is a. 3 of g, my value is c. Let's have a look at that. That's correct. UAC. There we go. There's also, I think, the difference between iPairs and pairs. The iPairs looks for, I think, case sensitive values and case insensitive, which means the I. So in other words, it can look for any kind of thing. I'm not quite sure about that. Let's have a look on the wiki. Online help, when it allows me. Come on then. Sort yourself out. Come on, connection, don't fail me now. Function dump. No, not function dub. I've got dubstep on mine again. I can't type. Right. What were we looking for? iPairs, wasn't it? Would that be under basic functions? Let's have a look. Yes, there we go. iPairs. Returns three values of an integer function. The table t and 0. So in the construction. Oh, okay, so it returns three values apparently. So it returns the index where it's found plus the index name plus the value, I guess. Not too sure about that, but I think that's what it does. No, it returns the actual table name, the table index where what it comes across, and then the value of that index. There we go. So yeah, if you want to get to this this wiki thing, you can either get to it from the studio, like just say online help or press F1 on your keyboard, and it do exactly the same thing. The problem with the wiki at the moment is you have to search for the function dump of every single function. Just type in function dump like I just done. Press enter. And there we go. It has everything to do with all the different functions and everything else that you can use in Lua, in Roblox Lua. So yeah, that's the two different for loops that we can do. I still didn't explain what the I pairs and pairs were. What were they? What was the difference between those two pairs? I've always used just I pairs. I think they're both exactly the same. I don't know. I'll do a bit more research on that and possibly do another video on it later. Anyway, back to our tutorial. I think to be safe, if you're doing something like that, just use I pairs. Or if you want, just leave off the I. They're basically just the same. I expect someone will quote me on that, but still. Anyway, moving on. The different types of variables that you can declare in a script, in any part of the script. It can be in a function or whatever. The correct way of doing it, we can have a capital all undercase variable and it be valid. It can be uppercase and lowercase, which is valid, and also these two values are not the same value, because I explained earlier that it's not the same variables. Lua is case sensitive when it comes to variables. Well, basically anything. We can also have numbers in the variables, but it can't be this first character in the name. And as I said, as I typed there, we can have a whole string of numbers if you wanted to, and that still be a variable that you can use. But I don't know why you would want a long number like that after your variable. You can do, if you want space in a variable, I use an underscore, so, and that's still valid. You can also start a variable with a underscore, which I did not know until recently. So that's why I put no way. Anyway, the next one is just basically just for neatness. It looks a little bit complicated, but it's not. All I'm doing there is declaring A and B as a local variable. So that is valid. You can do C, I don't know, something like that. ETC, something like that. And that would still be valid. It's just basically just doing this. Ooh, Pardon me. I've got hiccups. Got the attack of the hiccups again. Basically that. It's just squashing it all onto one line, making it a bit more compact. That's all that's doing. Let's return that. There we go. Yeah, now we move on to the wrong way of making variable names. We can't have a space in the variable name, as in there. My space blah. Because it thinks it's two variables and it can't find blah. Well, it's just stupid like that. Anytime you put a space in a variable name, it thinks it's another variable within that variable. So, yeah. Just don't do it, in other words. Otherwise your script will actually crash. You cannot start a variable name with a number. Because I don't know exactly what the error would be. Let's have a look. Copy, let's paste it outside that multi-line comment. Malformed number near 9 blah. No, it's just malformed. Okay. In other words, it will not execute up past that. It cannot start with a hashtag, because in Lua, from my own experience, it's a length of a... I wonder if it would work on a string. It's just a length of something. Let's just clarify. And my own sort of just playing around. Local string equals I am a string. Oh. Yeah, there are some functions, you see that highlighted in blue? There are some functions that inside of Roblox that you cannot use, and string is one of those. Because usually you would use string as something like, there we go, we get different functions for string. I should have put that down. Let's put my string. Print length my string. And it might come out as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's have a look. Yes, it comes back as the length of the actual string, or it also works on tables, works out the index for the table, like I put up earlier. Like here, f equals a table. Where are we? F equals table, and it's the type of table. Yeah, obviously, and the length of the table. Let's actually use G. Is 3. Which is correct, because we've got 3 values inside that table. So yeah, if you want to find the length of the string, just use a hashtag just before the value. That's quite useful. See, I'm even learning. Anyway, back to what we cannot do. We cannot put a star, plus, or minus, or even divide next to start a value. Because it comes back as a malformed number. It thinks you're adding, dividing, timesing, or subtracting nil from your value. That kind of thing. It's silly like that. Another thing that I didn't quite know about was putting exclamation marks in your names. Where we got there, no way, exclamation mark. That does not work. I think that must be reserved for something, I can't think what at the moment. So if you find that your scripts are breaking, just make sure that you named your variables correctly, like what we got up the top here. There are a few other ones that will work, which I haven't highlighted, I can't think of those yet. Usually the way to tell if your variable is valid, just type it in like this. if you get a red line underneath it, it would say the reason why it doesn't like it. Like if I put a number here, there we go, mouthful number near that value. So yeah, that if you can use Roblox the actual script checker, it would help you it would teach you as you're going. Anyway, let's move on to how to format your code in a script. I've seen so many examples of scripts where we got a function within a while true do loop, and a person wonder why it's not executing. The reason why it's probably not executing is, let's just say we've got a while true do loop there. I've seen something like this. Oh, the name for the functions also is the same as the variables. We can't start the functions with numbers, or basically just like the variables, like you can't have a times, minus, that, whatever. So yeah, if you see a red line underneath your line that you're writing, then there's something wrong with it. And just hover over the function name or the variable name to see what's wrong. So yeah, as I was saying, I've seen something like this in some of the free models. Something like that. I just put print hello world. If we run that, it will not print out anything. Like, no, I did not want to do that. Let's get back down to it. That hello world is from another function. Yeah, it's this function here. So yeah, we can declare functions within a while true do loop or even a for loop, but they will not execute properly. The way I would call that function, it needs to be called before it runs, otherwise you just skip it. So in a while true do loop, I would do something like this. My function. Something like that. And there we go. We should see hello world over and over and over in the output here. Let's scroll down. There we go, got loads of them. No, come on. Get down. Hey, get down. Thank you. There we go. And that continuously do it, print it out. So yeah. For this little example that I've done here is how to call functions. Like I've just returned the print hello world, and I've called the function here. If we did not have that calling that function there, it would not print out, because even though you got it written down, it's just like basically like I guess like a table, where you just say, okay, that thing's on the table, let's move on, kind of thing. Whereas you got a checklist. Let's say, right, what am I going to do? I want to find hello world. Okay, it's on that table there. There we go. And we found that function. That's basically what it does. The next one I can do is for functions where we get variables inside the actual round brackets. Like we got A, B, C. Something like that. Where in this case we can actually pass variables to the function. Oh, my throat's dry. Where, because we declared earlier ABC equals nil, I can do this. and they will be nil, so we can get the values inside the function. We don't have to do it that way. We can do, like, let's just say we wanted to reference the base plate and we want to do such and such with it. I don't know, turn it green or something. The way I would do that is, let's say we will reference the base plate in our code and then call the function to change it to green. Let's just say base plate and change this to, let's just say object for now. I would do this. If object not equal nil, then object brick color equals brick color new. Oh, would help if I get it correct. No, thank you. Change base color. Oh, my music is a bit loud at the moment. Yeah, just listen to a bit of music while I'm doing this. Hopefully it's not coming through on the tutorial. I know some guys don't like the music in it. Yeah, anyway. Right. Let's actually make a usable example. Local base plate equals script parent. I do love this kind of thing. Base plate. Thank you. Saves typing it out if you're done. Right, here we go. This base plate, if everything goes right, it should change to green. There we go. It's changed to green. That's the power of Lua and functions and everything else. You don't have to have it in a function like that, but it's something that you can repeat over and over. Kind of like a for loop, like what we got up here. Kind of like that, but instead of just running it once, you can run it continuously. Also kind of like a while true do loop, but you can, as I say, run it continuously if you wanted to. Where I could even put this into the while true do loop, and it just continuously change it to green. So yeah, there we go. It's continuously printing out. I don't know why you would want to do that, but still, that's basically what you can do. Save your time, save time on typing. Anyway, let's move on to a while true do loop, as I was just explaining. We can have different kinds of while loops, I guess. Yeah. Basically, in a while true do loop, we need a new function that's internal called wait. Basically, this function delays the script for a certain amount of time. I think it's milliseconds before it continues. If we did not have that in there, it would crash Roblox. It would just continue. It would just freeze up, continually executing. I found something about a while true do loop I found quite cool, kind of compacting it down. Where in this case, in this top one, we got while true do, then we just got the wait and then end. In my new way of I'm actually doing it is while wait do end, which in this case, when the delay is over, it returns true. So it's basically just the same thing. just a little bit smaller. So yeah, I think I covered everything. Oh, blimey, my first tutorial on anything really. Hope I've clarified how to program. Yeah, that is, I thought, yeah, I'll be able to do this kind of thing. Yeah, I'll do it in about 5 minutes. How long has it been? Hour? Something like that, hour and a half. So yeah. Anyway, if you guys want me to do another tutorial, I can do it. It's just if it's wanted, I will do it. Like, I can go into different kinds of functions, how to construct your code, etc, etc, and different things here and there. So yeah, this has been Digaza and doing a Roblox tutorial, basics, and catch you guys later. Ta-ta for now.